Hey everybody, how's it going? Joe Canfield here, founder and CEO of Fairways Relationship Management. Welcome into another episode of our podcast here where we talk about rounds of golf that we've played during the week and break down what we learned. I truly believe that I can't be successful at what I do, teaching you how to use golf to build relationships if I'm not out doing it myself and putting the frameworks and things that we're teaching into practice and adjusting continually and making them better. So here I played two 9-hole rounds this week. Had an 18-hole round scheduled that got rained out, and then had another 9-hole round scheduled for tomorrow morning, but ended up canceling that because our playing partner was sick. So anyway, we got 18 holes in, and we're able to head over to our TrackMan facility that we're renting right now and work on our game a little bit earlier today. So out there swinging the club, which has been nice. But today I'm going to break down those two 9-holers that we played. They were played both for very different purposes, very different outcomes. We had great conversations during them, though. The first was a new connection, somebody I'm not super close with, but want to get to know better. And we have a lot of the same kind of goals and aspirations and are working in the same kind of industries and trying to build things and create community. And so it was really good to talk with a like-minded person, but had an interesting encounter with that one. We were paired with another twosome, an older couple, and I'm going to get into a little bit of the insecurities that I face when I'm playing golf, because I feel like that comes with everything. So that'll be fun to break down. And then the second 9-hole that we played was with somebody we've known for a little while. We do some business with, and we're facing some challenges with the partnership that we're trying to build there. And so we were able to play 9 holes and talk about what we can do both on our end and their end on what we could do. And this person's actually somebody that was one of the very first people that learned about fairways and what I'm trying to do here and what's going on and the things I'm teaching. And he's a gentleman who picked up golf later in life and has used it to build his career. I asked him just point blank, like, hey, since you've been golfing, he's only been playing for a year, 2 years now. I said, since you've been playing, like, how have things gone for you in your career? And his response is super interesting. So I'm going to get into that as well. And after we break down those 2 rounds, I'm going to get into one of the things that's really exciting with Fairways right now, something that we've been working on for a little while. We're going to get ready to launch it here the next couple of weeks. And so we'll get into that in the last 10 minutes here and talk about what you can expect to see from us. So glad you're here. Thanks for listening in, and let's just jump right into it. So on Wednesday, we were able to get out and play 9 holes at Old Mill here in Salt Lake City. So, of course, tucked up on the East Bench. Actually kind of grew up in the area, hadn't played the course in a few years. And, I wasn't a huge fan of it because when I was a kid, we were always walking. We weren't taking carts, and it sits right up on the side of the mountain. And so walking it isn't exactly enjoyable. The walk from the 8th to the 9th hole, I think you go up like 200 to 300 feet in elevation from the green to the tee box. And so I remember as a kid, a lot of the times we play 8 holes and just walk straight into the clubhouse. So we didn't have to deal with the hill. But it was fun to be back out there. I remembered a lot of the holes. I remember some shots that I'd hit on some of them that were fun to kind of go back and reminisce on. But the round was set up with me and kind of a new connection, somebody that I had met on LinkedIn and reached out with and said, hey, I'd love to get to know you a little bit better and hear more about what it is you're doing, what you're trying to build. Kind of an interesting business the guy runs. He runs like 15 different businesses. And so, when I first met him a couple of weeks ago, before we started this podcast, we played 9 holes over at Bonneville, and it was a great time, and we both enjoyed our time together and said, hey, let's get out and play again. So we did. And one of the questions I wanted to ask him was, because he runs so many different businesses, and I feel like I'm a super busy person with, family and this and full-time work, and everything else along the side, friends, family, connections, everything going on. And so I met him, and he's talking to me about how many businesses he's running and how many things he's trying to build and events he's putting on. And I just asked him, what drives you? I said, why do you do so much? Why do you do what you do? And his answer is interesting. He's like, you know what? I just don't like sitting still. I don't like stagnation. I feel like if I'm not moving, I'm not growing. And I thought that was a great answer. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. And I see that in myself a little bit where it's, yeah, I want to keep moving, and I want to keep moving forward, building, creating, and helping others become the best versions of themselves. Super interesting guy. He does some relationship building courses as well. He does has kind of a different approach. It's more kind of a holistic spiritual approach than what I'm talking about, being curious about people and genuinely wanting to be helpful. But yeah, we really meshed well. The interesting thing that happened in that round was we were paired with this older couple, and on the second tee box, we're playing different tee boxes. I'm playing from the back with the guy who I played. He hits the ball a long way. Uh, Unbelievable iron player. It was kind of fun to watch him hit irons. It was kind of, I'm telling him clubs to hit because he doesn't play very often, and I'm picking wrong clubs for him. He's hitting 8-iron 180, and I'm going, oh geez, sorry man, I didn't realize you're smashing the ball like that. But anyway, the couple that we're playing with, older retired couple, guy and his wife, and they asked me, what do I do? And I said, well, I teach golf, and I have a day job, but I teach golf. And the guy says, well, man, my wife needs a lesson, and you should get her hooked up for a lesson. And I felt super uncomfortable with that. Like, I'm like, okay, now the whole rest of the round, she's going to be thinking that I'm sitting there watching her swing, judging her swing, and thinking of all the things that are going wrong there, which is totally not what I do. And I actually make a conscious effort to not tell people that I'm a golf coach before I go out and play with them, because I don't want them to sit there thinking I'm judging every little thing that they're doing, which I'm not. I 100% am not. And even when I do coach people, when I'm out on the course playing with them, I just turn that all off, because I'll watch things like, you know, different tendencies that they have on the range versus on the course. I'll do things like, hang on, I got to get this on Do Not Disturb here. This is a little embarrassing here. We're learning. Second episode, we're learning. Anyway, when I'm on the course with somebody, I'm not judging, especially if I'm playing, like trying to play well myself. I'm worried about my own game. I'm not worried about someone else's. And if somebody does ask me to give them tips while I'm on the course with them, I usually just tell them, like, let's wait until after the round. It's super difficult. And I think any golf instructor will tell you this. It is super difficult to teach during a round, because you're in so many different situations when you're on the course that you don't have the time to be like, okay, well, on this lie, and especially if you haven't worked with them before, like on this lie, it's downhill, you need to aim left, like you're going to pull it, you're going to push it, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. It's so hard to do that if you haven't had the time to sit on the range with somebody beforehand and actually work through fundamentals, because you can't adjust to different lies and different conditions until you have that baseline of what you're trying to do. So I'm always conscious of that. And when somebody thinks that I'm sitting there judging them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel horrible. I'm ruining their day by just being here. And so that's something that I always have tried to avoid. And one of the things that I've been kind of nervous about even starting this business, because I love playing golf with people. I just love being around people. And I don't want to be on the course with somebody having them think that I'm judging every little thing that they're doing. Well, yes, like that's part of what I teach in this business is like new connections. You can look and you can see how these people are outside of golf, like how your playing partners are going to act outside of golf. We actually have 15 different values that we can see in somebody by just the way that they play around a golf. And we teach you how to see that in other people. We teach you how to emulate those values in yourself, so that when somebody else is picking up on those things, you're presenting a great image of yourself. I have so many close friends that I play with that I just really enjoy being around, and each one of them has their own quirks, right? And they do different things than I would do personally, and that's totally cool. That's what makes us human. That's what makes it fun to get to know people, is you never know what it is you're going to get. You're never going to get the same experience twice, which is fantastic. And we're not trying to do that. Each one of these values is going to be shown in your own way. it's going to come out in your own style. It's going to come out. You're going to have your own personal preferences on things. Some people love, for example, to play music while they're playing on the golf course. For me, I think it shows a lack of self-awareness for those who don't want to listen to music on the golf course, especially if you're playing it loud enough that somebody 15 holes on the other end of the golf course can hear it, right? So those are the things that we're doing, and what I am worried about when I'm out playing golf. I hate when somebody's judging me, but that round was great. We got to know each other better. We got into more depth than we were the first time we got out to play 9 holes. The first time was really kind of a filling out experience of what are you and what are you all about and what are the things you're looking on and where can I add value to that. And that's what this next conversation was when we were out on the course. We were talking about, you've got this event and XYZ coming up. I would love to be involved in this way, which also delivers value back to me. So it's a great relationship, still budding, and I'm excited to keep working on that. We have a couple of things coming up with that event wise, a breakfast coming up that I'll be giving a quick little speech at and giving away a 4-week coaching course, which will be fantastic for whoever wins that. They'll be able to sit down with me and experience what we go through and help them make golf work for them, which is exciting for me, exciting for them. It goes hand in hand with what they're talking about at the breakfast, which is relationship building and relational strength and making sure that you have people around you that can support you when you're starting to build stuff. So really goes hand in hand. I'm excited about it, and we're going to probably get on the course again soon, hopefully before the snow flies. I've got a little bit of FOMO going here because of how close we're getting to the end of the season here. We got snow in the mountains already. Courses are we've got 6 to 7 weeks if we're lucky left here in Utah, but we'll be headed down to Vegas, I'm sure, once the snow starts flying to play some golf. So yeah, trying to get as many in as I can. I usually only will play once a week, but this week it was almost 4 times because I can feel the snow and the cold coming in. The second round that I played this week was fantastic. Seriously, one of the best conversations I've had with somebody. This is a gentleman that I had known for a while, had worked with for a while, manage a partnership with them and their company. And he came on board after we had signed the partnership deal. And so he's trying to get back up to speed on what everything's going on and then trying to put his own personal touch on things that are happening. And so we're working through some challenges there. And so we were able to get on the course, and beforehand was said, hey, this is what I want to talk to you about. But this guy was also one of the first that I told about Fairways, and one of the first people who asked me about it. Played around with him a little bit over a year ago. So right when I was starting this, and he asked about it, and he's like, look, I'm just barely getting into golf. This is fantastic. I love it. I didn't have a childhood where like golf was really an option, which was cool to hear somebody from a background other than mine to tell me about, what it's like to pick up golf later in life and what it was like to grow up not in sports, not going to games, not really having that kind of community that you can build through sports. And so it was interesting. So this was a year later from the first time that I'd played with him, and I just straight up asked him, I said, hey, since you've been playing golf, how has your career changed? And how have you been able to build stronger relationships? And he says, well, the nature of my job, I haven't taken partners out. And I go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But what I have been able to do is spend time with the CEO of our company because I play golf, and we play in so many golf tournaments that I am now being invited by these higher ups in the company to come play, and I get face-to-face time with them. I get to share my ideas with them. I get to share the way that I think that we could be doing better with them. I get to share wins from my team with them. I get to show them that I'm doing a fantastic job and I'm doing it in a fun environment, and they remember what I talked to them about. And so now, instead of when I run into them in the hallway at work, they say, oh, hey, how's it going? And keep going on their way. They stop and they have a conversation with me. They see me. They understand who I am and what I'm about, and that I'm on board and trying to move the business forward, and that I can be an ally with what they're trying to do as well. And I thought that was super cool because that's exactly the essence of why I think golf is such a powerful tool and why everybody should play, regardless of skill. I mean, that was something he was anxious about. And when we got to the course, that's what he told me. He goes, "Oh, I'm just going to be playing off of your ball the whole time." And I'm like, you know what? Let's play a Vegas scramble. Let's play off of my drive. That's fine. And then let you play your own ball in. And I'll give you a few swing tips here and there. Again, it's really hard to teach during a round. There's so many different situations, and I would love to spend, 45 minutes on each aspect of the game before I go out on the course with somebody. 45 minutes on putting, 45 minutes on pitching, 45 minutes full swing, 45 minutes of drivers. That's really how I think you can get good at the game. And then you take somebody on the course to pick up their tendencies and say, okay, look, after the round, this is what I saw. Instead of what you're doing on the range here, you're tightening up or whatever it might be that they're doing slightly different in their practice session than they are on the range. But that was a great round of golf. I really enjoyed the conversation we had. We got into everything from how golf has changed his career and changed his life. He's got his kids into golf now. I mean, he said something that was so profound to me that I don't feel like I should share here, but it gave me such insight into his mind and why he does what he does. And that's the power of golf. That would have never have come out in a boardroom. He would have never said what he did or gotten that vulnerable with me if I was just sitting across the conference room table from him. It was really cool and kind of a profound moment where I went, what I'm doing here is fantastic and it's going to help a lot of people. So I look forward to more rounds with him. I look forward to getting back into the office here next week and working on the things that we talked about and building something incredible with him in the future. So that's the power of just playing 9 holes. Like we were together for 2 hours and that's what I took away from that round. Knowing him on more of a personal level. Now he feels like I can just text Joe and ask him for what I need. And which I feel like I try to project to anybody anyway. But he actually did, I got a text from him today about something and it was kind of a last minute ask, but he knew me that I'm going to help be there and help take care of what he needs done. And I was able to project that through the round of golf. So he felt comfortable reaching out to me to make something happen. So yeah, two great rounds this week, both super productive. And I think they were productive because of the preparation that I do before rounds. I always try to think of something that I can be genuinely curious about with that person. With the first guy, it was why do you do what you do? Why do you try to build so many things? What drives you? And with the second guy, it was how has golf changed your career? Because I knew a little bit more about him, but I really wanted to figure that out. Like, has it made an impact? And it absolutely had. I also generate a list of questions of things that I want to cover each round before we walk off of the last hole that I want to make sure I've hit on certain points. And part of our training is talking about when and how to bring those things up. So yeah, I feel like everything went really well this week and that the framework is actually working really, really well. I'm excited to start working with more and more coaching clients on that side and giving them these tools so that they can experience the same thing that I am right now. Something else that happened this week is an exciting development with Fairways. We are officially planning a retreat to St. George for 16 people. We're looking at a Ryder Cup style of competition. So it would be 2 days of golf, instruction in the morning, both days, and then playing 18 holes in the afternoon as part of a competition. We are toying with the idea of doing a CMO versus VP of sales type of thing. And then the networking afterwards will be talking more about how those two areas in each company is working together because there's a lot of friction there. And so one of the things that we hope to accomplish with these retreats, aside from helping you build golf as a marketable skill, build golf as something that you can use not only in business, but your personal life, and hopefully going through enough instruction that you get better during the 2 weeks. We also want you to get some practical value out of the networking that we're going to do there and make that networking extremely high value. It's not you're paying $2,000 to fly across the country to go to an industry specific trade show with 5,000 other people. It's let's get 16 people in a room that have tons of experience, that are experiencing the same types of challenges, and let's get them talking to each other. And so their businesses can come back from that with some practical application thing that they can put into place right away. And they can build friendships so that when challenges do come up, they have a network that they can lean on to call and ask questions and say, hey, have you experienced X, Y, and Z? And can we pick your brain on how you handled these types of situations? It's something that I've been fortunate in my career to experience quite a bit with peer groups and professional groups and things like that. And I'm excited to start building that for other people, that they can start having that. So keep your eyes peeled for that. In the next few weeks here, we're going to be announcing it. We probably will only have about 4 spots available for people to jump on board, because the first 12 are going to be filled by guests and invites from our presenting sponsor on it. And so they're going to get the people that they want there. And so I'm really excited about this. It's something that I think a lot of companies are going to see us do and go, yeah, we need to do that for ourselves. So it's going to be 2 days of playing an incredible golf course, 2 days of instruction, 2 days of networking, and just really having a great time and coming back with some really practical advice and practical applications for things that they can start implementing right away into their businesses to start seeing more business come their way and problems get solved. So we had a great week. Excited for next week. We had a couple rounds planned. Rescheduled that 18 holes we were supposed to play Monday this week. And so hopefully the weather will hold out for us a little bit longer. And thanks for listening in, and we'll talk to you next week.